everyone, I am MechaRandom42. You might also know me as Random Game User 42, and we have some more Trek news from this new Picard series that's coming out. Oh Lord, I guess let's just get right into it, shall we? And we're using the Trek movie website today because we usually use the comicbook.com, but this was a I kind of like their Photoshop image here. That's, oh Lord, I kind of like their image. So this comes to us from, oh, it doesn't say who wrote it. Oh no, it doesn't say who wrote it. Oh, just the staff. All right, just the staff wrote it. James McAvoy offers to play Flashback Picard in new Star Trek series. Yesterday, Sir Patrick Stewart shared the first image of himself in the writer's room for the unnamed new Star Trek about Jean-Luc Picard, and it got quite a reaction. Not only did Stewart fire up social media, but it was covered around the world and in the mainstream press, and a few Hollywood professionals took note, including one actor who has played a Patrick Stewart role before. McAvoy is ready to fill Stewart's shoes again. The writer's room for the new Picard show has been up and running for weeks, and we've been covering the briefings and teases that have already been shared, but it took Sir Patrick Stewart himself to really light up the world when he posted a shot of himself along with the writers and executive producers of the show on social media. The tweet has over 73,000 likes and 1,800 comments in just over a day, with the Instagram post getting over 84,000 likes and over 14,000 comments. Now, I'm going to clarify this. A lot of the time, I will like a social media post to acknowledge that I've read it. It does not always mean that I agree with you or really, it's just kind of an acknowledgement that I read it for the most part. And that's for tweets, that's for things that people send me. It's just yep, I like this because I'm responding to you, or I don't have time to respond to you. So I take the likes with a grain of salt. A lot of people will just like anything that pops into their social media feed. And seriously, like the comments some of them might be negative, and the retweets and all those things, those also might be negative. One of the people commenting was actor James McAvoy, who played young Charles Xavier in 3 X-Men movies, a role originated by Sir Patrick Stewart on the big screen. The actor even shaved his head to match Stewart's Pat. I've never heard this word being used. I sound like such an idiot on these. To match his bald head, just say that. Don't try and stump us with these weird little. I mean, I guess it's not super uncommon and super weird, but it's like they try and throw these little words out in here. Like, okay, you're trying to stump me. And it looks like he's willing to do it again, as he responded to Stewart's Instagram post with the question, "Need a flashback guy?" Adding, just saying, "I've got previous experience and will work for autographs." Oh boy, they always have to start give me something based on what Stewart has said. Oh yeah, and here's the image too that we saw yesterday, and I will link my other video to this in the description below. So based on what Stewart has said and hints from executive producer Michael Chabon, the new Picard show will be set in 2399, or 20 years after the events of Star Trek Nemesis. McAvoy is currently 39 years old, or about 10 years younger than Stewart was when he originated the role of Captain Jean-Luc Picard in Next Generation. Yeah, and the thing with McAvoy, though, is he is 39 years old, but Patrick Stewart looked a little older as well. Patrick Stewart looked kind of middle-aged. You can young down James McAvoy if you really need to. While McAvoy's commitment is somewhat in jest, it's not unreasonable to think that the new series will cover the events of the life of Picard and the Federation before 2399, and possibly before his time on board the USS Enterprise D. TNG provided a good amount of information on Picard's backstory, including his family and upbringing in France, his time at the Academy, and some of his Starfleet postings. Younger versions of Picard have been portrayed by 3 other actors. David Tristan Barkin played Picard at age 12 in Rascals, plus he played Picard's nephew Rene in Family. Marcus Nash portrayed Ensign Jean-Luc Picard in Tapestry, and Tom Hardy played his young clone and was shown as a photo of Picard from the Academy Star Trek Nemesis. Of course, Stewart also played his younger self in Tapestry through the magic of Q. More are ready for the Picard show. McAvoy isn't the only one inspired by Stewart's writers' room reveal. Amy Berg, a writer and executive producer on sci-fi shows such as Eureka, 4400, and Counterpart, responded to Stewart's tweet with, "The thing this room is missing is me." Well, you know what? I did like Eureka. I've heard Counterpart is good. Amy Berg, yeah, please replace Akiva Goldsman. Pretty, please. I don't think I've ever heard anything bad about Amy Berg. So yeah, can we get some people who aren't Gilmore Girls writers and who, you know, aren't so hated? I think that's one of the problems with this series, is that we have so many Discovery people behind it. Someone who could very well end up working with Stewart on the show is his Star Trek The Next Generation co-star, Jonathan Frakes. The former Riker actor directed Stewart in a number of episodes and 2 feature films, and he has already directed 3 episodes of Discovery, so he is clearly in the orbit of Kurtzman and the other executive producers. It's notable that Frakes was the only TNG star to respond to Stewart's tweet. His message was a simple engage. We recently reported that co-stars Michael Dorn and Marina Sirtis and James McAvoy were all in the dark about what was going on with the new series, even after the TNG reunion dinner with Stewart earlier this month. As of a couple of weeks ago, the TNG actors had not been contacted about the new show. One Star Trek actor who did respond to Stewart's writer room's tweets was Star Trek Voyager's Garrett Wang. He played Harry Kim. He shared the tweet with his followers with a simple message: "Congratulations, Sir Patrick Stewart, so excited for you." After the news of the show first broke in August, Wang answered a fan's query saying he would love to reprise the role of Harry Kim, and here's his tweet here. So, what do we think of this? What do we think of this? Oh boy. So we all know that Marina Sirtis and Michael Dorn and James McAvoy have not been super outspoken in favor of Discovery. And from what I remember, Marina Sirtis hasn't even watched Discovery. We know that Michael Dorn is not a fan of the new Klingon makeup, and I will link my Rosario Dawson video in the description below, where I did cover quite a bit of Michael Dorn's article as well about his thoughts on the Klingon makeup. It's kind of a twofer on that video. Oh boy. James McAvoy, yes, please play a young Patrick Stewart in anything. Absolutely. Love your work. The problem is it's going to be written by the Discovery people again. We have all these Discovery people. And oh god, I know that my track record and my history of Discovery is tons of disappointment, letdown. It is my least favorite, and actually is a show I hate. I hate Star Trek Discovery. I won't, I hate that I hate something Star Trek related when I clearly am a fan. I'm not somebody who's just a casual Trekkie. I've grown up with Star Trek. I've been into Star Trek since the 80s, since I was a very little kid. And yeah, I just hate having so much fear that this series is going to be terrible, and this is how they get you every single time. They drop you little hints of, oh, you hate Discovery, here, we're gonna make a show with Patrick Stewart, and it's gonna be in the future. See, we're listening. You guys like Picard, you guys want something post Nemesis, and yeah, it's nice, but it really feels too little too late for me. And I will give this show a shot, but I do not have any expectations going into this. And I like seeing that people like Amy Berg want on board, and I want to see more writers that aren't Gilmore Girls writers. Give me more writers from science fiction television. Don't give me these kind of big name Bad Robot associated people. Don't give me Gilmore Girl writers. Don't give me people who don't have writing experience. Don't give me writer's room Star Trek. I mean, we need somebody to say, here, I wrote a script. I know these characters. This is what we need. We need it written the way a Next Generation is written, and TOS. We don't need these writer room sort of ideas, brainstorm sessions. We don't need this in Star Trek, because we need an ensemble cast. We need, especially if it's an exploration show. And I don't know what the Picard show is going to be. It might not be an exploration show. We might very well get a very well done dramatic series with Patrick Stewart as the main character, which is fine. I mean, we know it doesn't work with a traditional Star Trek series. Maybe this won't be a traditional Star Trek series. Maybe this will be you know, an academy drama. Maybe this will have some comedy elements to it. Maybe it'll be, maybe it won't be your traditional Star Trek sort of show. And there's a million things they can do in the Star Trek universe. But when they put a show on a ship where they're supposed to go around and explore and solve problems and do these things, and they shove a main character that is very unlikable, that, you know, and they're trying to kind of retcon and insert characters into backstories of people that we already know and love, that doesn't work. I'm curious to see where they're going with this, and I really hate that, like, I am so easily dangled and tempted by these things, because I that was my first response with Patrick Stewart on there as well. When they announced him, I'm like, oh, Patrick Stewart's back, we might have something good. And now with James McAvoy, I'm like, oh, he might be good. And I hate that, because it's exactly what I said on my video yesterday. You're dangling, you're giving us this cupcake, but we know that it's got a wire attached to it, and we're gonna grab for it, and it's going to be something that's painful. It's going to give us an electric shock. And I'm scared for it, and I'm very, very cautious, and I think a lot of us are. What do you guys think? Are we more excited, less excited with the James McAvoy stuff? Is it more of the same of, you know, we kind of see what you're doing, we kind of see why you're leaking these stories. You're leaking these things to kind of generate buzz and interest in a show that doesn't even have a story yet. I mean, it barely has a title. We think it might be called Star Trek Destiny. We think it might be called Star Trek Reliant, or, you know, we don't even know. We know they've trademarked a couple of these names, but yeah, we don't know what it's even called. So what do you guys think? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I am MechaRandom42, and I will link my previous day's Star Trek videos in the description for you. I have Patreon, Twitter, I live stream video games on Twitch sometimes, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on the next live stream or video. Bye!